Like an escargot, I went to sleep. Back on trail. It's day something. 13? Maybe that's why. It's a glorious Sierra morning. But I have been moving about as fast as that lake water down there this morning. I couldn't quite figure out why. Just moving slow. But no matter. I can get the joints and the muscles warmed up this morning and go put another pass under our belts. We got Mather Pass, and then a few downhills to Lake Marjorie, where we're gonna potentially hang our hats for the night. Because just past Lake Marjorie is Pinchot Pass, and yeah, I don't quite think we've got 2 passes in us today. We'll see, but probably not. All right, here we go. Good times. Mather Pass, 12,096 feet. This might be our tallest pass yet, and you can kind of see Palisades Lake down there, past those other hikers. Made it up in an hour and 15 minutes, so it was not the most comfortable I've been, but still beautiful. Whew, good times.
From Mather Pass, Strider and I made our way down into the basin in a long slog of a downhill to our lunch spot at the South Fork of the Kings River. It seems though that Strider never passes up an opportunity to photobomb my videos though.
So when you come out, you know, fly thousands of miles across the country, hiking days and days and days on end, it's easy to feel far away from home. Until you meet David and Emily, who are from Chapel Hill. So we've been leapfrogging each other for the last couple of days, and then just started to introduce ourselves yesterday at Palisades, and found out how close we live to each other. So Very cool. They're also southbound and headed to Whitney in just a few days, right?
That's right.
That's right.
We leapfrog in some more.
Yeah.
Right. So very cool to meet everybody that's out here, but even cooler to meet people that are close to home. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Good times. Never can really get used to how far you can see when you're out here. We just stopped and turned around. There was Mather Pass that we had crossed this morning, way off in the distance. But had a nice little lunch break, and Joe said we were climbing down to Lake Marjorie, or Marjorie Lake, however you say it. But I guess he said that he read the contour lines backwards. And sure enough, it's up, but no big deal. The yeah, it'd be down if we were northbound. But honestly, I hate saying it, but I think I'm starting to prefer the uphills because you huff and puff, but the knees don't hurt as much. So we're almost to camp. See you in a little bit. Good times. Home for the night. So we're actually above Lake Marjorie. Pinchot Pass is over there yonder somewhere. But so we're above Marjorie Lake, and unless I'm mistaken, there's no names for these lakes. So it could be that we are about to name these lakes. Yeah, we're not just gonna pull that one out of thin air. We're gonna have to think about that because that's permanent, right? Naming an alpine lake, these names stick forever. So, but anyways, took a little bit of doing to find some flat spots out here, but found a decent little spot, and yeah, I guess this is home for the night. Good times. Chill evening. Got our camp chores done, and I've just kind of been walking around taking pictures. And something I haven't gotten on camera yet, but we've noticed it for a while now. When we're up in these higher elevations, very little grows, and but the one thing that I have noticed that grows when nothing else does are these little purple flowers. And they have, at first I didn't realize they had a scent until I was smelling something and I couldn't place it, and then Joe smelled these purple flowers and realized that's what it was coming from. But they smell like a sweet herb, but I'm not a botanist, so I'm not smart enough to know what they are. But when we get home, obviously I'm gonna look it up and put it in there. But just very cool. It's one of those times I wish the camera had smell-o-vision, just so that you could smell what was out here. But just a beautiful evening. We'll see you in the morning. Good times. back on track. Another beautiful night, this time at Marjorie Lake. And Joe and I, see, this is why I don't feel bad when we get our late starts, because I know that we can get early starts when we want to. We are going for just shy of 16 miles to Rae Lakes, and that'll put us within striking distance on Sunday of Onion Valley Trailhead, which is where our ride's coming to get us to take us to Independence. We're gonna zero in Independence, but we gotta get there first. So, first thing on the docket for this morning, we got about 1.25 miles to Pinchot Pass, which is another 12,000 something feet. So, got a little bit of climbing this morning, but it'll be a long day, I think. But beautiful nonetheless. Good times. Okay, we ready to go up the stairs? What you gonna do? Pinchot Pass.
Pinchot Pass.
12,122 feet above sea level. You look way down there. So that's unnamed lake number 1 right there. You can barely see unnamed lake number 2. And then the big one down there is Marjorie Lake. Only a mile down, but I think that 7 a.m. or 6:55 a.m. start really helped us out because we have the pass all to ourselves for once. So that's a nice change. And a nice view of the valley. Views aren't too shabby. Good times. Well, it has not been the most relaxing morning I've ever had. We got up and over Pinchot in about an hour this morning. And then since we hit the pass, we've come down approximately 3,500 feet in 7 miles. So we are DUN done with downhill. And it was just really technical, lots of rocks. Barely could ever get a stride in the last 3 or 4 miles. So definitely glad to have that behind us. But we still have about 2,200 feet to gain back to get back up to Rae Lakes. So a little bit up and down today. But just crossed the Woods Creek suspension bridge, and we ended up doing it a couple of times. And the last time I came across with Joe, which I didn't actually see the sign until he started fussing at me. And so sure enough, there's a sign that says 1 person at a time on the bridge. I guess that's to keep my fat booty from snapping a cable, but it seemed to do okay. But yeah, so I think we're gonna head up here, get some water at some point, and then he's on. Good times. Well, we're stopping for lunch for the day. It's a little after 1, and it has not been the easiest day of the trip for me. I was running on rainbows and unicorns for most of the morning, and then at the Woods Creek Bridge, just after that is where I ran out, and that was 4 miles and about 1,700 feet of elevation. So we were climbing 1,700 feet in 4 miles. And so pretty much at that point I was running on anger and spite. But it got me here. But we're gonna take a break. It's beautiful out here. And we ran into David and Emily again, which is cool. So it's good to see them again. All right, break time. Don't push your luck. Just because you're cute doesn't mean I won't smite you from the earth. Why are you staring at me?
I think you are taking my picture.
Like the deer nuclear family. It's a young buck though. All right. 15.5 miles for the day. Well, we made it to Rae Lakes. The way Joe and I have kind of found our rhythm on trail is our bodies are nearly worthless after lunch. And so we've decided that for us it's better to push longer before lunch and then do like a handful of miles after lunch. So that's what we did today. We did like 12.5 to lunch, which we stopped at Dollar Lake, which is just down the road, and then pushed out an extra 3 to get here. So this is where we wanted to be for the night, so that's good. 15.5 miles, and it's just after 3 o'clock, so I'm happy with that. But this puts us just below Glen Pass. This is kind of like the last place to camp before Glen Pass. And then I think it's like 12 miles tomorrow into Onion Valley. And then we're gonna get some real food. So, yeah. Now I'm gonna find some shade because it is baking in this sun. So, yeah, another day in the books, good times.
excited.
She's ready.
Primus.
Alright, we got 2 ounces of water.
I think you just spit into.
This one actually takes 10 and a half.
Guess because the rice.
10 and a half ounces, because I can measure to that level of accuracy with my.
Full peak.
Not 11, not 10.
Because if you put in 11, it's going to be all runny.
Oh, I think I put in 11. Oh well, I'm gonna have runny teriyaki.
It's actually spaghetti night.
I had a 50-50 shot. Oh yeah, now I can see it. That one's.
Yeah.
I was all excited about doing a dance across the suspension bridge today. For your video. It was all I could do just to keep from wetting my pants. Especially when you were walking behind me.
I did not realize.
Things going like this.
I did not see the sign that said one person.
I don't think it's a weight issue. I think it's the fact that you get 2 people on there. Yeah.
Winding down yet another day and taking in Rae Lakes. Something we have done every single day, and I have not filmed it somehow, is our overnight bear canister situation. So when we were at getting our permits, the rangers recommended that we put our bear canisters approximately 30 feet from tents. So there's my tent. You can't really see it, but there's Joe's tent. There's the lake. Has nothing to do with this. I just think it's pretty. But anyways, so this is what we got going on. Joe's canister, my canister, and this is where the genius comes in. So on top of our canisters, we have put our titanium pots. And then on top of that titanium pots, bear with me here, are rocks. And the rocks in the titanium pots are our 100% foolproof alarm for if any critter decides they want to get into our bear canisters. Fortunately, these canisters are pretty much critter proof, but we still like to know when they're getting messed with. So if they try to push them over or anything like that, oh yeah, that's like raising the alarm bell. So safe and sound. But yeah, that's our creative genius for the trip, or Joe's creative genius. He did it the first night and I copied him. But anyways, yeah, just kind of winding down. I think it's getting pretty late. I think it's almost 7:30, so that's pretty late for us. We've only stayed up for the sunset once, and it was when we were at Evolution Lake and looking out over the valley, and just too pretty to pass up. But that's the only time we've stayed up that late, so I'm going to bed. We've got different maps say different distances, but between 11 and 12 miles tomorrow out to Onion Valley. Looking forward to it. We'll see you in the morning. Good times. back on trail. Leave Rae Lakes, and it occurred to us yesterday that it's the weekend. So there's a fair amount of campers out here that are not through hikers. Hang on. I picked a bad time to try to talk to the camera. Alright. But so a fair amount of people out here. So finding campsites was interesting, but we got a decent site. But today we are headed into Independence for a much needed break. I don't know if I can do this, hang on. Should have done this talking bit earlier. I'm running out of breath. Well, get this done. So we're headed up to Glen Pass, which is another 1,300 or 1,400 feet in 2 miles. And then down a little bit. And then up to our second pass. This will be our only 2-pass day, to Kearsarge Pass. That'll take us out to Onion Valley trailhead. Whew. All right, here we go. Good times. So big motivation for this trip for Joe and I was the documentary Mile and a Half, and great documentary, but I've been watching it in increments throughout the trip, and I couldn't help but notice that they skip a lot of the suffering. You need to document the suffering. They'll just be like, oh, we're at Rae Lakes, oh, we're at Glen Pass, oh, we're at this, oh, we're at that. Like, right, yeah, oh, isn't this fun? Well, I mean, yeah, this is fun in some sick, demented way. I'm sure somebody thinks it's fun. But there's Rae Lakes way down there. We still got plenty of climbing in front of us, but I figured I would stop and talk to the camera as an excuse to catch my breath. And yeah, let's ease on. Good times. Another pass in the books, baby. Glen Pass, 11,950 feet. Just not quite enough for that 12K. But that's a heck of a way to start the day. We camped way down there. Just an ever so gradual ascent. But yeah. It feels good to get this out of the way early. I would be much more grumpy if we did this in the second half of the day. I'd like to think, I hesitate even saying it, but I'd like to think that this was the hard part for the day.
Surely.
We still have one more pass to go at Kearsarge to hit Onion Valley, but I think that one's going to be a little more gentle. We sometimes gentle is what the doctor ordered. All right, let's do it. Good times. Anyways, Joe just came up with a humdinger of a one-liner. So yesterday, we were coming down from Pinchot Pass, and I took a wrong step on some loose gravel, some very untrustworthy rocks, and my left foot was sliding on the gravel, and my right foot got caught underneath me, and my right knee got torqued a little bit, and so we said that the rocks were very untrustworthy. So we're coming down from Glen Pass with some very similarly untrustworthy rocks, and Joe just said that the rocks were about as trustworthy as a Chinese dating app. Thought that was pretty good.
So delete them off your phone.
Yeah, no Chinese dating apps on your phone. That's the pass way up there. So another pretty alpine lake, and we're just easing on. Good times. Got another landmark for the day. Rae Lakes. 4 miles in that direction, that's where we came from. Charlotte Lake and Vedette Meadow are that way. We're not going that way just yet because we're going that way. We're leaving the JMT. We'll be back day after tomorrow, but we're leaving the JMT for some very, very good reasons. Those reasons include town food, showers, laundry, beds, rinse and repeat. Lots and lots of town food. Beer. Oh yeah, malt beverage. But I think I'm gonna try to win a taco eating contest in Independence.
I almost lost that one. I gotta sleep in the same room with you, man.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that aspect. But even if there's not a taco eating contest, I'm gonna have a taco eating contest. Apparently there's a taco truck in Independence, so I'm going to eat them out of house and home. But all right, let's get over this Kearsarge Pass and get home. Good times. Kearsarge Pass, 11,791 feet. Pass number 2 for the day. And Big Fist, if you happen to be watching this, I feel a little misled because you said Kearsarge Pass was going to be straightforward and maybe even a little easy. And from the looks of it, from the junction, it's 2.8 miles from the junction back to the JMT and about 1,000 feet down. So 1,000 feet up to here to the pass. So you think 2.8 miles, 1,000 feet, that's manageable. What you don't see is the fact that you don't do any real climbing until like the last less than a mile. So, but yeah, so we're in the downhill slope now. It's something we haven't seen in a long time. Flat ground. So, handful of miles down to the Onion Valley trailhead. It's only 10:40 right now, so lots of time to kill. But probably have lunch at the trailhead, knowing the way we operate. So, see you there. Good times. We're making our way down to Onion Valley Trailhead, and I suppose it just comes with the territory of being in proximity to a very accessible trailhead, or one of the only entry points, or one of the few entry points for this area into this wilderness. It has been an absolute explosion of people in the last mile. Kearsarge Pass was literally covered in people. I could barely find a spot to film that wasn't going to bother anybody. And then it has been like hiking on the interstate, coming down from the pass down to the trailhead. Just people going both directions, up and down. And we're seeing our first day hikers. I don't think we've seen day hikers at all this entire trip, so different experience. All right, just keep on easing on. Good times. Something else that just occurred to me is Joe and I keep passing all these day hikers. Joe and I took a shower at VVR last week, so over a week ago. And in that week, we have been drenched in sweat every single day. So I'm positive that if you were to stand 6 feet away from us, you could still smell us. So I like to think that these day hikers are having to hold their noses or suppress their upchuck reflex as we pass by. Long way down to the trailhead. Still good times. So the trail may be a couple 100 miles long, but sometimes it could be a pretty small world. Ran into Andy again from Bad Hikers, and he is definitely proving that he's not a bad hiker. So their resupply plan for here makes me feel like a soggy bowl of Jell-O, because we're going in, we're gonna spend the night in the motel, showers, get food. What are Andy and Brittany doing? They're harder than woodpecker lips. Brittany is camped on the other side of Kearsarge, and Andy slack packed it over Kearsarge this morning, picked up their resupply from Mount Williamson, and then got a ride back up to the trailhead, and we just passed him going back up Kearsarge. So he's doing Kearsarge twice in one day, and then going back uphill with 5 days of their food. So tip of the cap to you, sir. I'm pretty soft compared to that. So you're doing it right. So we may get lucky and see them again before they have to head out. I don't know if our itineraries will quite sync up, but if you guys end up watching this, absolutely fantastic to meet you. That's why I love the trail so much, is because you get to meet so many new people that you would never ever get to meet any other way. So almost to this godforsaken trailhead. Good times. Another little public service announcement, just something I've noticed as we have passed a multitude of different hikers, day hikers, backpackers, at varying levels of experience. And some of them in what I would consider a concerning level of preparedness, even for a day hike. Passed one guy that all he was carrying was a 1 liter platypus bag, and it had maybe 4 or 5 gulps of water in it. So my little public service announcement, soapbox moment, is that the beauty of the outdoors is it's open to everyone. You just need to be prepared for it. And if you would like some information on good day hike principles and packing lists and everything like that, I'm going to point you over to my buddy Crow from As the Crow Flies Hiking, because I remember he did a how to day hike or something like that video a while back, and it's got a lot of good information. So if you go watch that video, you should probably get some good information about how to prepare yourself if you've never been out before, because it's definitely worth coming out here. I'm not saying that, you know, anybody has a right to it more than anybody else, but you just got to be prepared because it's hot. This particular trail is very exposed and you can become a casualty very, very easily. So go check out his video and have a good time. Good times. Well, we made it to Onion Valley. I haven't seen this many cars since San Francisco. It's like a little before 1, and the ride from the motel is supposed to pick us up at 3. And so in an effort to make sure that we weren't late, we ended up showing up 2 hours early. But I'd rather be 2 hours early than miss the ride. So we're gonna hang out here for a little bit, finally eat some lunch. 11.5 miles before lunch. We're keeping with our rhythm, and yeah, good times. As Joe and I sit here in this parking lot like straight up homeless people, something occurred to me as I finished my lunch that I was not exposed to until I started planning for this trip and got a bear can and whatnot. But there's some emotional highs and lows when you're doing long trips and getting resupplies and that kind of thing. So like the emotional high of actually getting all of the food to fit in the bear canister is a great feeling. But then there's the emotional low when you actually have to carry that bear can that's probably 12, 13 pounds. Yeah. So there's that emotional high and low. Kind of the emotional high that Joe and I have been enjoying, at least today, is the fact that our bear canisters are just about empty. In fact, I am 100% out of food now. I just had lunch, and the only thing in my bear can right now is my spoon. That's, I guess, an emotional high that we got, you know, light, but also an emotional low in that I really hope my resupply did in fact make it to the motel. The Postal Service says it did, so we'll find out. If not, it's going to be Slim Jims and whatever else the gas station in Independence has for my resupply for the next however many days. But so we got about another hour or so before we head back over to the parking lot where the van actually shows up. And in the meantime, we will continue to look suspicious and smelly, and good times.
Waiting for us.
Alright, so I think I got this organized. Sorry for the audio, like the road is like right there, so it is what it is. Plus I have my brother directly behind the camera who thinks it's hilarious to watch me while I do this. But anyways, so we did a little bit of over planning
And I don't know what Joe and I thought was gonna happen as far as like pooping, but between Guitar Lake and Whitney Portal, you're required to use a wag bag. So instead of just packing out moist towelettes or toilet paper or whatever, everything comes out. And each of us packed 4 wag bags for 2 days. So I don't know what we thought was gonna happen, but so I'm gonna carry at least 2 wag bags. 2 are gonna stay in the hiker box here at Mount Williamson. Other things besides food that came in the in this last resupply, I brought some extra hand sanitizer, which I probably won't need, toothpaste, which I will need, and then the most important thing, some Elijah Craig Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. And so this is the finest bourbon that was in an airplane bottle at the ABC store. So this is for Joe and I to toast when we summit Whitney on Friday. It just feels right to toast to that accomplishment. So, but as far as food goes, I think I picked the noisiest time of day to try to film this. Literally a bulldozer just drove by. Whatever. So far, I'm pretty happy with myself in the way that I've been planning. We rolled in here yesterday, and I had no food left when we came in. I had an empty bear canister, which I guess is good and bad. It's good for the planning factor, but like bad if like, you know, the feces hits the oscillator and I needed extra food. I wouldn't have had it. But honestly, there's no way I could have brought any more food on this last resupply. It just simply wouldn't fit when we were at MTR. So I think now it's time to find out if it's all going to fit in this bad boy. So here we go. So this is the last resupply for our John Muir trail trip. So Joe and I are going to hang out here at Mount Williamson Motel for about another hour before they kick us out. Then we're going to bebop down to Rae's Den, which is another hotel on the other side of town. But Mount Williamson has been awesome. If you're planning on doing the JMT, as soon as you get your permit, do the math on when you're going to be in Independence and plan on being here at Mount Williamson. They pick you up, they'll bring you here. They give you a free beverage of your choice when you get here. They do resupplies, they cook you breakfast, and they take you back to the trailhead, so it's pretty awesome. So we're gonna hang out for a little bit, go down to Rae's Den. We're gonna spend the rest of the day down there, spend the night there, and then we're gonna come back here tomorrow morning, and they're gonna give us breakfast, and then a ride back up to the trailhead. And then Joe and I are gonna start the slog 5-mile uphill from Onion Valley Trailhead to Kearsarge. So super excited about that. All right, let's go chill out. Good times. So we're about halfway through our zero at in Independence, and trying out the local fare taco truck. And I have witnessed something on this trip that I never thought I would witness. My brother, the beanpole, is going for seconds. So he already had the burrito a la Mexicana, and he just bought some more tacos. So I went with the Chipotle quesadilla for my first round, and now I'm going for the burrito a la Mexicana for my second round. But I've never seen my brother get seconds of anything. He's like, he just doesn't eat. So this, we'll all remember where we were the day this happened. It's incredible, momentous. I feel like we should name the day after something and call it Taco Day or something. Very good times.
All right, this is about as close as my brother and I have been to Hiker Trash. Unfortunately, we couldn't secure 2 nights at Mount Williamson. One night was very nice, but we were able to secure a room at Rae's Den Motel, which is on the other side of town. So we're gonna walk to the other side of town, and then our zero will really begin. But I had a quesadilla and a burrito for lunch. And there's something wrong with the waist belt on my pack because I guess it shrank. I don't know, but whatever. Good times.
We picked a good day to zero. Lots of traffic. But apparently the JMT group on Facebook calls this a monsoon of moisture. We're at like 3,000 something feet in Independence, and you can see the mountains up there. That's where we would be had we stayed on trail, so I'm sure the weather's just a little bit worse up there. So, not complaining. But the ice cream shop closes in 15 minutes, so naturally, even though I have zero room in my stomach, I'm gonna go get a shake. Just for the simple fact that I can. Yeah, good times.
Good morning. Another day on the trail, the last chapter, if you will, of this trip. Back at Mount Williamson, they're gonna feed us this morning and then drive us back up to Onion Valley Trailhead. We gonna get on. That's where we're going. It looks a little intimidating from down here, I'm not gonna lie. Especially when there are clouds below where we're going. Very pretty. It's been a good zero, got some good rest, chilled out, ate a ridiculous amount of food, but it's time to go back to work. Finish this. So let's do it. Good times. Back at the trailhead. Back at 9,200 feet, I can instantly feel the difference. Just walking over to the bathrooms over there, just take one last visit, and I was like, so yeah, instant difference. So that's what we got going on this morning. It's about 5-ish miles up to Kearsarge Pass. So that's what we got to go over today, and then work our way down the pass and then start heading south, get back on the JMT, maybe Bub's Creek or something like that, but we're gonna still stick to our 11-12 mile days, and that'll get us to potentially over Forster Pass tomorrow, so then to Guitar Lake on Thursday, and Guitar Lake is the jumping off point for Mount Whitney. So pretty freaking exciting. So if all goes well, we're gonna wake up at 0 dark 30 on Friday morning and night hike and do a sunset summit in Mount Whitney. I'm already smiling and excited about that. But we got a whole bunch of hiking to do before that. So just got to keep an eye on the prize, because that's what's going to get us up those hills. So I guess we should put the packs on and go do this. Good times. We're about 45 minutes in, and definitely above the clouds. But feeling good so far. But quick side note, just passed a guy who was hanging out at one of the switchbacks. Looks like he was just kind of taking in the sunrise. And Joe, ooh, well, we pass him and we get a little bit up the trail and Joe turns around and he's like, that was Chris Isaac. And I was like, what? Because he had like on sunglasses and a sun hoodie and looked like he's a normal dude. And he's like, that was Chris Isaac. And I was like, well, I guess that's cool. But either way, I'm gonna stop and talk. But I was like, either way, I'm gonna give him his moment. Because I would imagine if you're that popular, there's a reason you come up here by yourself. So if that really was Chris Isaac, that's cool that he's able to come up here and get his own little moment of peace. But yeah, what a view, man. What a view. Gotta get up this gosh darn pass. That's our task for the day. Everything else will be downhill from there. Good times. Made it up to Kearsarge. Feels a little weird. I just finished doing a live video for Facebook, and now I'm talking to the big camera. So I feel like I'm saying all of this twice. But way down there is Onion Valley Trailhead, where we came from. It took us about 2 hours to get up, so we're pretty happy with that pace. Honestly, it felt better coming up than it did going down. We've still got a fair amount of hiking to do. That is where we're going. Somewhere darn there. So, feels pretty good to be up here though. Be back up among the clouds, actually above the clouds. We were looking up at the clouds this morning. But it feels really good. We picked a great day to zero because the weather was crummy down in the valley, but super crummy up here at elevation. So I'm actually not sorry that we missed that. So I'm gonna get a couple more swigs of water and then we're gonna get on. Good times. I never thought I would say this. Maybe it's just because we've been on trail for 2.5 weeks and my cardio is finally where it should be, but I actually prefer uphill to downhill. So Sunday when we were going down Kearsarge Pass towards Independence, it was just a slog downhill. It felt like it was never gonna end. But coming up this morning up Kearsarge, and granted we were rested and fed and whatnot, but it just felt a little easier, even though it took us 2 hours to get up. Oh gosh, hopefully I don't die. Felt a lot easier going up today. Now that we're going down the, whatever this is, the west side of Kearsarge, it sucks, man. My knees are just like, enough, dude. So, yep, I'm officially an uphill guy. Whatever, still good times. Well, first hang up for the day, a little wrench in the gears. So, as far as meal planning goes, I had planned on grazing at Bullfrog Lake, but according to this Cotton Pickin' National Park sign, Bullfrog Lake is closed to grazing and stock travel. Aww. So I can't eat the grass at Bullfrog. Luckily I stocked up on ho-hos and Twinkies in Independence. Actually did stock up on ho-hos and Twinkies. So maybe that's what it'll be for lunch. Whew, good times. I gotta give it to you, bud. You've got the warrior spirit in you. Finally back to see our old friend, the John Muir Trail. Past Bullfrog Lake and met up with the JMT and head south again. And right at the junction, met another group of hikers, and I felt a little guilty because, like I said earlier, we picked a good day to zero because the weather was less than favorable yesterday, and so this group had stopped and were drying out tents and gear and everything like that, and their souls seemed a little damp as well. And so they're telling us about their escapades and how it just poured rain and all this, and then they asked where we were. We're like, well, we took a zero yesterday, so we were in a hotel room. So I felt a little bad, but it's the luck of the draw, I guess. Could have just as easily happened to us. And who knows? We've still got at least a few days on trail, so it ain't over till it's over. But anyways, it's good to be back on the JMT. Probably got a handful of miles left for the day. May stop for lunch at some point. It's still kind of early, but it's just good to be back on trail. Good times. Well, just a little before 3, and we're at camp. Joe and I banged out the last 3.5 miles after lunch, about 1,200 feet up. Banged it out like it was our job. This is a tough climb, not gonna lie. But there's a handful of sites up here. We're just below Forester Pass, but it's gonna be a crowded campsite tonight because this is about the only spot to camp below the pass, at least on this side. So we're gonna get set up and relax for a little bit. Good times. So during one of my eating binges down in Independence, my eyes were bigger than my stomach, and we'd had our skirt steak and Bordeaux, and Bordeaux. It's getting silly. We had skirt steak and Bordeaux, which was by far the fanciest post-trip meal I've ever had. But anyways, we had ice cream for dessert, and then I was still like sort of hungry, and I was like, let's go get some junk food at the gas station. So I got ho-hos and
chocolate Twinkies. And then we immediately went back to the hotel room and passed out. So no Twinkies or Ho-Hos were consumed that evening. And so they just kind of sat there in the morning, and I was like, well, I guess I'll put them in the bear can and we'll take them down to, you know, Rae's den and maybe we'll eat them there. No, didn't happen. And so the time came, we woke up this morning and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to carry them on the trail with me. Bear cans are known for crushing food into a certain shape to fit in the bear can. And the Twinkies and Ho-Hos were no exception. Joe had to use a spoon to eat the chocolate Twinkies. But initial reports say they taste just as good.
Yes.
However, I do have one complaint with Hostess on the Ho-Hos. On the package itself, in the very front, it says moisture chocolate cake. And to be perfectly honest, the only reason I bought this was because it has the word moisture on the packaging. And the chocolate cake is not moisture. It is a little crumbly. Granted, it's been in the bear can, but I think moisture and moistness should be unaffected by the bear can.
It's only logical.
I don't think that's too much to ask. So I have one more not moist Ho-Ho, and then dessert will be over. I don't know what I'm going to do with my Snickers bar I had for tonight. I guess I'll have to carry it. Maybe eat it for lunch or something. Oh well. That's it for us for tonight. It's been kind of a chill evening. Our neighbors have chilled down, so that's good. Good times. We'll see you in the morning.